Hello. My name is Sam, otherwise known as Function, back with more Supreme Commander loveliness. Today I am joined by the lovely, by the talented, by the handsome Willow's Duality. How are you doing, Willow? Thanks for joining me.
Hello there, you beautiful people. I think handsome might be a stretch. Nobody's seen me, so for all you all know, I'm fucking dirt ugly. But I am happy to be here and happy to be joined by the illustrious Function. If you're coming from my video, my cast with him, this is not the one we talked about for like half an hour on that one. It's the first time we recorded a co-cast, we had some audio issues. So yeah, if you're coming from the Scorcher podcast, as it's named, this is a different cast.
Yeah, that
obviously
that first cast is unfortunately lost to time, which is pretty sad because it was.
We have half of the audio.
Yeah, we've
post
got
it
my
and make
audio.
it very
so
confused.
It's just me talking to myself, which is pretty standard. But yeah, anyway, let's meet the players. So team one over here on the left hand side. We have X600 playing green Seraphim. Then to his east, we've got Grey Cybran player by the name of Behog, who I think I'll just call Hog. Down to the south, Pink Cybran, we have Fraggington. Cool name. And then in Yellow Aeon, we've got Boba Fett. And then right down to the south, the fifth player in Cyan Seraphim, we have Angel Raid. So that is team one.
Moving on to team two, we start off with a brown UEF going first land. He is another FAF content creator, another FAF caster, and his name is, of course, the Duelist. Then we're moving on to a purple UEF going first land by the name of Leroy Jenkins.
we had Leroy in the co-cast that I did with the Duelist last week.
And then we have a red UEF going first and second land by the name of Twisty Sauce. I've casted him a few times. Moving on, we have ourselves a white UEF going first land, as everybody does on this map apparently, by the name of Ham Sandwich. And last but not least for this entire cast, we have ourselves a blue Cybran going first land by the name of Staw SM. And I caught myself doing that thing since my very first cast. I confuse Cybran and Seraphim as like their names whenever I go to say them. I say them backwards more than anything. Like that's the biggest mistake I make speaking wise. Yeah. And I don't know why, because I hate the Seraphim and I have a special place in my heart for the Cybran. It's just the S.
Yeah, it's that soft S sound. It's pretty annoying. My name starts with an S, so maybe I shouldn't say that. Anyway, the map is a 10k map gen. We've got 17k mass on the field. Both teams bringing their commanders forwards. There's a decent number of mexes in the sort of central third of the map. Actually, Duelist bringing his commander super far forwards. I don't know if he's forgotten about it, but
he's kind of standing and taking this fight. Like it's not going particularly well for him.
He's got Leroy coming up behind him. I think he'll be okay. 2v1 down there, that'll be fine. We've got an early bomber out from Leroy as well. I always like to see that. Do we have any other bombers? I don't think so. See what he can get done with that. So what do you think about this map, Willow? What do you think we're going to be looking out for?
I think that overall, this map is going to, of course, lend itself to land engagements. I think with the kind of depressed little middle in the area, which that kind of came out wrong, but it is a depression. That area down there, that's going to be a kind of a microcosm, if you will. Mm-hmm. A little area where people are going to fight over it, and it's going to be hard to influence with your normal land forces, but there's going to be a huge amount of fighting breaking out as the Duelist and Leroy start just pounding into the comm of Angel Raid. Angel Raid going very low on HP. He's dipping into the red, which means he's at, I think, 15% HP is when it turns to red, maybe lower. And he is really really in threat here. I think the Duelist is going to nab ourselves our first ejection in this game here around 5 minutes.
Don't see how Angel gets out of this one alive. He's got no units on the field, so he can't block Duelist or anything like that, and a bomber coming in overhead to help out. 7 kills on that bomber already. Got a bunch of engineers over here. It's getting some more. It's going to get... Oh, I missed the... I missed the thing.
It's okay. It's a Seraphim comm. We don't need to worry about it dying. They die like flies. They're so horrible.
The ADHD
is it gonna be a full share?
I see a bomber come across and I forget about what I was looking at before. But yeah, as Angel Raid's base goes up in smokes.
Yep, it's a no-share game, so that does give a huge advantage over to Team 2, as they're not going to be really dealing with that economy going to another player, although I think that Boba Fett has a decent number of forces coming out onto the field. I think he'll be able to reclaim that area. It's going to be very difficult for Leroy and Duelist to hold that area without going T2, and even then, it's a hard ask, because their forces are so far away from their resupply point, which is a factory. It's a weird way to name it.
That said, I think Leroy's got a bunch of T2 mexes, and they've got 2 comms in the area, plus StoSM putting pressure on the sort of middle sections. I think Boba Fett, there's a chance he'll get sort of squeezed in here. At the very least, Duelist and Leroy are going to be able to deny this southern area from Team 1 for a while.
Yeah, he needs to really deal with that force from the Duelist that's in his forward production. On the northern side of the map, we had a bunch of upgrades going on. We have Zeph Amp for Ham Sandwich and speed and range on the way for Fraggington, and then we also have that engagement going on in the north between StaSM and 2 of the commanders and their forces, kind of mirroring what happened in the southern side, although StaSM much better for wear than his Seraphim counterpart.
Decent number of units there for Ham Sandwich. Looks like Twisty Sauce tried to get an edge build, put a land factory in, but Fraggington already has a bunch of factories in the Central Depression. So Team 1 losing some ground on the southern side, but gaining ground in the center.
I think that the name you just gave it is, it has a ring to it, the Central Depression.
Yeah, I like it.
I love it. Yes, it speaks to me on an emotional level. StaSM might be in trouble. That's double comm on him, and he's just dead. It's going to be a draw.
Actually going to die as well. A whole bunch of Mantis in the area for StaSM, but he does drop down below 2,500, so he goes pop as well.
This is still a win for Team 2. Team 2 getting the draw there is so much better than the southern side where you had just one player die. And I feel as though right now Ham Sandwich just kind of has a better unit production and composition going on. He has that gun upgrade. Really needs to start pulling his units back so that way his gun comm can get some work done. You generally want to keep your comm out ahead of your units. Whenever you have a gun comm, not too far ahead that you're under risk, but just far enough that you're taking out units without too much trouble. He's trying to put a lot of pressure down onto Fraggington, and if he goes down, that's going to be huge, as the Central Depression will be no longer contested by either.
That's a very good point. So Fraggington's got 2 upgrades on this commander, so he's feeling confident, but that's something I hadn't considered. This comm is much more valuable than other comms on the field right now because of that ground that he's gained in the center. Down below 4,000 hit points, Ham Sandwich.
He's overextending.
Continuing forwards. 3 PDs in the area now. 3 PD
are nothing to mess with. That's nothing to mess with. And now another comm. He's dead. Wait, he's just dead.
He's gonna die. 2 more shots. There we go. And he gets defeated. It says Control K, but as we know from what you were telling me the other day, it's not really a Control K.
Yeah, it's not really a Control K. I would probably chalk that up to maybe overcharge. from X6000. I'm not sure exactly what caused
I wonder if Medusa Fire caused it as well, if that counts as like an AoE explosion.
Yeah, that might be the case. Huge run-by happening now and taking out some more territory for Boba Fett out from Twisty Sauce. So Boba Fett also sort of collapsing, and Team 2, they took a big hit over there on the northern side, but this southern side it really is looking dire for Team 1. Team 1 has to expand out to the northeast, otherwise they will probably be capitulating within the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, they need that territory, and they need it 5 minutes ago almost.
Yeah, I agree. Team 2 already 12k ahead in terms of total mass. Look at generated eco, and they're, you know,
It's
10 or
still
15
even.
ahead.
Yeah, 10 to 15 ahead is nothing too horrible, but
Yep.
now both teams, it's now effectively a 3v3, but I feel as though team 1 definitely with the lion's share of the struggles here.
A lot of units coming out from Leroy, and they're all Lobos by the looks of it. Lobos with a much higher DPS than Strikers, but obviously they struggle to hit moving targets, so they're very good against structures.
I think now would be a decent time to check in on the reclaim numbers that these players have racked up. There was a decent amount of reclaim to start on this map. And the only players really abusing it right now, I would say, are Leroy, Fraggington, and X6000. They're the only ones who have passed 3,000. Leroy very far ahead of the pack, nearly doubling that of his two counterparts on the enemy team. Duelist really shrugging on the reclaim numbers, and I want to call him out for that. 141 reclaim in 11 minutes, Duelist. There was natural reclaim on this map. We're not playing Astro. Get your shit together, bro. I'll call you out in any cast I can, especially because I love doing his doing replay reviews for him. But come on, man, reclaim's so good. Why you have to not reclaim?
This is the problem that you'll run into if you only produce T1 RT, when they run into a decent number of T1 tanks on the opposing side, especially Auroras that can move around and dodge really easily. Those RT will fall to bits.
Yeah, I think Leroy could really... it feels as though he might have an air advantage, or should go for an air advantage. One thing you can do to abuse a Aeon player who is kind of stuck in this situation where he can't really easily transition to a Tech 2 force is T1 bombers. It really is worth playing for that T1 air advantage, and I think he could do it relatively reasonably. He has about the same inties as Fraggington, and if you get maybe one or two more air factories instead of all of those land factories and just get a bunch of T1 bombers, that just makes it a situation where Duelist and Twisty Sauce can roll over him with minimal forces.
Will a T1 bomber, will it always one-shot an Aurora?
It's faction specific.
Okay.
All of them on a direct hit will do it, but certain factions have the cluster bombs, such as the Zeus and the Scorcher. Scorcher in particular will pretty much always do it, because there's no way, if you get hit by even one of the tiny cluster bombs, I don't think you can micro the Aurora out of the fire radius in time.
Right.
So in general, though, all 4 T1 bombers will be relatively effective, and we're talking about getting like 5 or 10 of them and just really trying to protect them as they fly over and deal damage to those Aurora. And it's just a very oppressive thing to happen to the Aeon. It's one of the, I would say, the most like hard counter things you can do at T1 is going to be T1 bombers into Aurora. They can get extremely cost effective very quickly.
Nice. Leroy deciding that he doesn't want to play the micro game anymore. He's gifted a whole bunch of units over to Twisty Sauce, who has got his comm up on the front lines with that Zepham upgrade. Check in on the northern side. Twisty Sauce sort of fighting on 2 fronts here, trying to expand out into the north, or at least protect some of the northern area. But Team 1...
Is the Duelist going for air? Because I don't understand what he's doing. It feels as though he's... I'm not sure. Where's he going with this? He has T2 land, but I don't understand particularly how he's trying to affect the match, because I don't see like any units on the field for him.
He's a little bit low
Maybe
on
he's
last generation as well.
I think he's transferring units to his allies. Never mind.
Right.
That is a valid strategy.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think actually a lot of these units may well have been duelists.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing to speak about is the tech. Team 1 has Cybran, Seraphim, and Aeon left over, whereas Team 2 is just UEF. It
Oh
may not
dear.
come into huge play, but the options of units are definitely going to be a bit different. As far as it goes on a map like this, UEF is a perfectly fine one to have all of your factions being, as Percival's in T3 will be great, and their T2 force is so it's so nice to have those pillars. They're so quick to get out. They're so cheap. It's a very nice, just good unit. Cost versus effectiveness is very nice on pillars.
Yeah, nice. I think Twisty Sauce mentioned to his teammates that he thinks they can go for a kill, and he's moving his units forwards. Commander a little further behind, and Leroy actually loading up a bunch of Lobos onto a T2 transport there. So one of my favorite tactics there.
Gonna get that Star Lifter in for a nice little Lobo drop. Maybe even could afford to just blow past the base of Boba Fett and just go straight into the base of Fraggington. The interceptors out for Fraggington were not in the right position at the right time, so it is going to drop here in the back of the base of Boba Fett, and that's just going to be the nail in the coffin for this yellow base. He just doesn't have the resources here to easily deal with this. But T1 bombers coming out. Never mind. That deals with it quite well. Gonna lose some T2 mexes.
Yeah, and Boba Fett by far the lowest player in terms of eco at the minute. He's been fighting, basically 3 players for the majority of this game. Over on the northern side, a little bit of a push coming out from Leroy as well.
Yeah, X6000 and Fraggington really haven't expanded as quickly as would like to see to that eastern side. I don't know if they just didn't have units left over or they didn't have a bunch of engineers for it, but it just seems as though they weren't able to gain the same territory that their opposition did on the southern side.
Yeah. Just going to turn the volume down.
So overall, with the incomes right now, the incomes are still relatively even despite Boba Fett kind of just massively bleeding mass. He's down to 13 mass a second. He can barely afford 5 T1 factories.
He's trying to spam up he's trying to spam up point defense, but with, like you say, with such low income, it's just basically impossible to do. ASF's out already at 16 minutes there for Leroy.
Yeah, could you check reclaim for me for a second?
Yes. Here we go.
All right, Boba Fett not even really getting a ton of reclaim. I mean, you would kind of expect it. It's admirable that he's holding on against all this pressure and all these forces without it. I'm guessing that is just a hyper-effective comm. I bet his comm is on 3 to 4 vet by now.
Yeah, there you go. 3 vet points. 78
3
kills
vet.
on that comm. Not bad.
He's also getting some support from Fraggington, but most of this still is him holding on, and the point defense is going to do well. It still does feel as though it's a matter of time before he is either forced off of this position and loses his base, or he just loses that comm to a force that's just too big.
Yeah. Looks like Team 1 making good progress on the northern side. You can see the total mass count's almost exactly even now, so they've done a pretty good job of catching up.
A lot of that is Fraggington with the Central Depression and kind of just, he's been expanding quite well. X6000 has a lot of T1 bombers on the northern side that he's using to clear out a lot of these forces from Twisty Sauce, and it seems as though they're trying to finally lay claim to that. If you hit Control Shift really quick, that base that was formerly held by who was that? Star SM. Star SM.
Yeah.
It's gonna be giving him that's gonna be a decent little base there of reclaim if X6000 can get in there and start scooping it all up into his coffers.
Some T2 mobile flak in this group here, so those bombers not going to be able to do too much damage to this large army here, but they've cleared out that northern side, like you said, so X6000 hopefully going to be able to consolidate that position soon. Oh, these are... I keep forgetting who's on which team. These are Allied forces for Team 1. They're a big group moving in.
It's a mistake to move in here. There's too many structures, and in combination with the T2 PD there and that comm there, it's a mass donation, although neither team doing particularly well at the entire reclaim after a fight thing. The first team that starts doing that is the team that wins. I'm calling it here. If neither team does it, then it's a coin flip. But the team that starts really pumping out some engineers for a reclaim is going to be in a much better position than their opposition. I'm sure if we zoom out, there is a ton of reclaim on this map. There's 24,000, and a ton of it is like right here in this field, right in front of the base of Boba Fett, who's going for Chrono, which is the most cost-effective choice. So Boba Fett, props to this man, because he has realized the secret to Aeon. Get Chrono. Step 1, get Chrono. Step 2, kill units. Step 3, profit, question mark.
Nice, yeah. And I think he's being topped up on power by his allies, so he's able to get that upgrade really quickly.
Yep.
A couple of stingers there for Duelist, just getting sniped by X6000's ASF's Leroy with his ASF's not quite in the right place. Chrono
I think that Team 1 is going to have a air advantage. I think they have 2 players who are about to be T3. They have T3, of course, on X6000, I believe. And I think T3... Oh, no, it's not on the way for Frackington. For some reason, I saw those T2 engineers. I'm like, he's getting T3 for sure, right? Brick's coming onto the field, though. Brick's going to be a... they're really good for building walls, and they really need a wall in that southern side.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
We were in the cast that was lost to the ages. We were talking about the aesthetics of units and how we like the way the Harbinger looks, and how we both kind of have gripes with a brick. I don't think the brick is ugly, as you do, but I do think that the weapon on the brick looks dumb as fuck. That little, like, it's like a dot on its forehead, and that's where it shoots from. Maybe we can get some footage of that here in a second whenever it comes into range. I do actually, one thing I will give the brick, I think it has a cute ass waddle. It just waddles
that is
along.
true.
It is very cute. It's always happy to be there. That's one credit we can give to the brick.
I love actually how its body seems to shift from side to side as it walks. It looks like it's swaggering.
It looks like it's doing the sassy head back and forth thing.
Yeah.
Head side to side sassy thing. Like, if it had hands, it'd be like snapping on each side of itself. Oh no, you didn't.
Yeah. So explain to me how Chrono Dampener works, because I don't really know the specifics of it.
The crash course of Chrono Dampener. Every time you see that little pulse come out from the comm, it
like
stuns every unit in the radius of your attack. It does increase with the range upgrade, at least as far as I can tell. Wow. And he does have the range upgrade. As well range. As it stuns everything except for T4s. Okay. And one big thing that people will make mistake with, and I learned the hard way, does not work if your comm goes underwater for any reason. Which is, I think, a huge shame, because, like, why does Nano and Regen Aura work underwater? Those are both, or I guess just Regen Aura. That's another Aura ability, and for some reason that one works underwater, but the Aeon, I don't know, why can't you do your little burstingness underwater? I've never understood that, and I should be like, go ask the balance team to make that a thing. They'll be like, no, it'll make nice. Navy broken. It'll make Navy broken for Aeon, and I'm like, yeah, but you did that before, and people actually liked Aeon for a few months when you made their destroyers completely overtuned.
Nice little fire base being set up here. 3 Cerberuses more on the way, and a big Rhino push going forwards, clearing out some of the units from Team 2. Still a ton of mechs is not built here, which is a bit of a shame.
So some things to look out for with a Chronocom as the player using it. I might be one of the most experienced people with using Chrono. There are about 3 things that you want to avoid. One is Percival's and Bricks, both of which have more than enough DPS that if you're looking at about 7 to 8 Percival's or Bricks, which that normally you only need 4 or 5, and this is without overcharge. With overcharge, you can go up to like 15, 16 Bricks and Percival's. But when they do fire, they make enough damage, especially Percival's, that you have to be careful around it, and you could even try and dodge some Percival shots.
Yeah.
But with that's the first thing you want to look out for. That's the most obvious thing. The second most obvious thing is going to be air units. You want shielding, you want flak. If you're T3, you want redeemers. You want to make it as difficult as possible while keeping your comm mobile for them to just use air to kill you, because air is going to be one of the easiest responses. The third thing is, if they ever have more than 5 PD, don't bother. Unless you have a force that can take down those PD, don't bother. Your comm will not be able to deal with it on its own.
Does the Chrono, does it work on structures, or is it only units?
It does not work on structures. That's the reason why if you're going up against Chrono, one of the best things I can tell you, because maybe you don't have air, maybe you aren't T3, and T3 is the only land forces that really give it issue.
Yeah.
The best thing to do is T2 PD, and if they walk up on you, because one strategy I've done before with Chrono is Chrono T2, which people will be like, that doesn't make any sense. With Chrono T2, you have the unique ability to walk up to T1, T2 PD and just build a T1 PD next to it.
Nice.
Then you can fight a lot of T2 PD.
Yeah.
But T2 PD is going to be your best friend there. If they start just walking in on you, start spamming T1 instead.
Good
crash course in Chrono.
Thank you very much.
That's what we're getting in this. And as you can see, Boba has been able, with the assistance of the bricks that were gifted to him in that comm, has been able to push this back, and they're going to start losing some T2 mexes down there for Leroy.
Yep.
Not going to feel very good.
Mobile missile launcher setup. I think Leroy had, sorry, not a mobile, TML. I think he had one over here somewhere. I thought I saw a rocket. Maybe it was just the clink hammers that he's building. So going for those standoff tactics.
We just missed it, but a huge air fight broke out between X6000 and Leroy, and X6000 came away with about as many ASF as he started. And Leroy has 3.
Yeah.
So right now, the air is going to be an issue for Team 2.
Yeah, you can see a lot of those ASFs with veterancy, actually, which is quite nice.
Yep, get that health back without having to go to a air restaging facility.
Air staging facilities, I feel like, are really underused. They repair air units just so quickly.
Yeah, I like to build a bunch near the front and give them to my air player pretty often. Yeah,
nice. You're just a nice guy, Willow.
I am the most selfless FAF player in my friend group. We go play Navy maps, and I give them all my naval units. I give them eco sometimes. I'm always giving people things, because I'm like, I'm bad at the game, but if I give these things to a good player, they'll do something with them, and I won't.
Nice. Percival's and some pillars. Trying to get some T2 mexes. They get 3 of them, but some Volthus come over the top. I have got that name right. And a bunch of T1 and T2 units defending as well. Percy's with a lot of hit points, 7,200 hit points with no vet. So it is going to take some killing, but they will go down eventually.
Also, Percy is against T2 and T1 armies. They don't fare all that great. You need so many Percys, because the amount of overkill they do and the fact that they fire so slowly means they really struggle. Like it's pretty deceiving how an army of bricks stacks up to pure Percival, and that's why I feel at higher levels you see a bit more Titan usage. Whereas at the lower levels, people are like, Titans are just trash. Well, Titans kill off T1 and T2, whereas Percivals struggle with that.
Yeah. I didn't notice this before, but there's quite a cool little ledge going around outside here. I thought it was just like flat around here and then a dip, but it's actually a ledge that is higher than the surrounding area. Which is quite nice. And
so
Fraggington making use of
that means that means we have the central depression and the outer depression. There's two depressions. What's the opposite of depression? Happiness? That we'll just call that cliff the happy cliff.
the outside happiness and the central depression.
Yes.
It sounds like a very, very odd children's book.
Make sure to avoid that central depression, kiddos. for the literal 0.3% of people who watch, at least on my analytics, who are between 13 and 20. It's fun to look at analytics and then realize how old the FAF community is.
I don't think I've been around long enough to get analytics like that. But a nice push came in here from Fraggington. The units have all died, but they did a lot of damage to this base. They didn't actually manage to kill any of the Clink Hammers. It's pretty annoying. But he's coming over the top with some Corsairs to try and snipe Leroy, but like 40k hit points on that commander, including the shield. He's getting 30 hit points back a second.
Also with the... are you also hurt every time you zoom in and see all of those massive reclaim fields that still nobody has touched? I bet you if we look at the reclaim, it's still... Nobody is over 10k, I bet. Look at reclaim. Oh, never mind. Boba Fett. Okay, Boba Fett, we'll give him credit. He has really reclaimed that area. And Leroy is also reclaiming, so never mind. I'm just a filthy liar. These players just, they're getting more reclaim than they can possibly take in. I'm sure that's the cause of this. Oh, you can see reclaim happening. Oh, I'm so happy he's using T2 engineers to reclaim. That's going to be a huge bump in his economy temporarily.
I would love to see some Sparkies coming out here. Those T2 combat engineers that the UEF have, use them to go and reclaim. So they have more hit points and they have a gun. So not bad for soaking out.
Oh, Fraggington is overflowing.
Yeah.
He has those engineers reclaiming and he's not able to spend it. Is he overflowing? Oh, he's damn near overflowing.
I think if you're above
80%,
80%,
90%.
They don't reclaim. But he's gifted a bunch of his stuff away, so they're reclaiming now.
That's a lot of T1AA. I don't think you need that much more. You're to the point where you can take down a strat bomber with that much T1AA.
Yeah. Building T3 he's only just started it on this comm here.
Were you about to insult him for it being slow at 2%? I'm like, come on, dude. It's not like he's been there for 15 minutes and is at 2%.
He's had 28 minutes to build that T3 and he's only on 2%. It's pathetic.
So we can see that Boba's gotten a little bit scared with the comm, which is valid. But I think if he just gets enough, if he were to just walk up with a bunch more flak, he could continue this push with the chronocom. But I think he's more worried about staying alive. I'm used to playing full share, so I guess I'm just much more risky with my comms than the average person should be.
Yeah. And the Aeon have access to those T2 shields, the mobile shields. So I agree. You should probably
Asylums.
Build a couple of those, forwards and overcharge some Perseus.
One of my favorite puns that I've made is enough asylums to drive anyone insane.
Nice. Very good. That's what we bring to the table here. Function and Willow,
I bring
strong puns.
horror. Yeah. No, we both have that same mentality of quantity over quality. Because quantity has, as I think it was Stalin who said it, quantity has a quality all its own.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're putting out so many casts that are just not the greatest. No, I'm kidding.
I mean,
I think your casts are great.
Thanks, Willow. And I think yours are great as well. But yeah, I mean, you throw enough spaghetti at the wall, some of it'll stick. Is that the expression? I don't know.
I believe it's shit at the wall. Wait, are we family friendly here? Because I think I broke that like 3 minutes in.
That's fine. I think I swear in my casts. I definitely swear in my POV and my live streams.
Yeah. So wait, we can see the bricks and their really bad gun
Oh
animation.
yeah, let's slow this down.
Where it comes out of a dot on their forehead.
Oh, I slowed it down.
Oh,
too
now
much.
they're gonna stop firing.
That's so irritating.
That happened the last time we tried to show this too.
Thanks, Bricks. Right. Well.
Yeah,
we'll check back in on those guys later.
the Cybern just can't cooperate.
No, they can't. I've got Bricks over here. Maybe they'll do something.
It's like that meme poking the bear with the stick and saying, "Do something."
Yeah.
Come on, do something. Oh, it's aiming at something. Oh no, it's not. It's just looking forward.
Oh, that's a cool shot with the Harbinger shield poking through the Asylum shield. Oh, come on, Bricks.
Yeah. Harbingers are fast boys. Fast suck boys. He could be reclaiming with these Harbingers. Just if you set Harbingers on attack move the next time you want to raid. They stop and reclaim. It's pretty great.
I was trying to get the nice camera angle there, and then I realized that the bricks weren't doing anything. So let's just pretend that didn't happen. Oh, a nuke launcher got completely built and then just demolished.
T1 bombers.
Wow, that is so disappointing. I think it only just got built. We've got a strat bomber coming overhead going for the power generation.
You know what? I think this replay was a little bit better for our co-cast. We have two players who are green who use T1 bombers to way better effect than they have any right to be.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just no anti-air in this
Wait,
area.
is Twisty Sauce gonna die to T1 bombers? He just took a huge pass.
He's got 15k total hit points. He's on 11k now.
He's building Sam's to deal with T1 bombers.
Nice.
You know what? There's no kill like overkill.
Yeah, absolutely. He's doing a bit of a dance. I don't think there's enough bombers left. No, there's only a couple of bombers and they go down. Duelist has been
really
a bit
feeling
quiet.
like Team 2 has been quiet overall. It just feels like they've kind of been passive for a very long time. Even if we check economies, I think they're behind now. Team 2 would
Oh wow, they're
probably
miles behind. Well, certainly compared to where they were before. 50 or 60k behind.
Yeah, what about generated eco?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're 200 mass a second behind whenever at one point they were like 15, 20 ahead and they had so much more map control. I don't know what they were doing with all their mass. It really feels like they've just run out of units. Oh, you chose the brick that's about to die. Yeah, look, there's a little dot on its forehead that the gun comes out of. That
doesn't make any sense.
Just looks bad.
Like the Rhino has a gun that's bigger than its whole body. And it's got the nice recoil animation. That's great.
And that gun does so much less damage than the gun of the brick, even though it's like infinitely bigger. It just doesn't feel right. And the Duelist is gonna come in here and he's like, first you attack me for not reclaiming, and now you attack the brick. What's wrong with you all?
Oh no.
Speaking of which, can we get a Duelist reclaim check? I do want to check that. Has he gone over 141?
He's got a decent amount now.
23,000. Okay.
Oh, first experimental an hour, sir. Asswasher, excuse me.
Oh, that's the end of the game. That's it.
I mean, yeah, Team 2 just don't have an answer for
just
that.
track the Iwasa and the game is over. I'm saying that quite sarcastically. I still think tracking it's a decent idea because it's a very beautiful thing to track. The Iwasa, one of the few things the Seraphim has right, along with the Sathanus. Which people are going to be like, wait, what did he say Sathanus? That's the actual name of their T3 mobile artillery, the artillery doggo. It's the Sussianus.
I think I like artillery doggo as that's one of my favorite nicknames for a unit.
Yeah, it is the artillery doggo. Oh, does the Iwasa go down? If the Iwasa goes down and drops itself right on
Wow.
top of the duelist face,
And that's 40k mass doing very little.
and it's gonna drop. Oh wait, does it kill that factory though?
It does kill
Damn
the
it!
T3
If it
factory.
didn't kill the factory, that would have been huge. He really needs to make sure he exerts control over that area because
Yeah.
he's losing territory to Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Ooh, sniper bots out of Boba Fett.
Nice. The little harpoon boys. War of the World.
Granddaddy Long Dog. Is that what I said last cast?
Yeah, that was it.
That was in the actual cast on my channel. It's horrible. I hate it, but I don't
nice,
at the same time.
Some nice trebuchets placed here for Fraggington in the sort of edge of the central depression. And that's
If
gonna
he
make it
really
almost
wanted to
impossible.
metagame, he could ground fire that Iwasa wreck.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that nobody gets it.
Yeah, at the very least, it's just going to completely prevent.
He's
any,
really
engineers
trying
from
to kill
coming.
that Sam, and it's not working. He's missing that Sam with every single shot. That Sam he's the dog in the room saying this is fine
with 3
with
veteran
fire
points
all
almost,
around him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's almost gaining more hit points than he's losing. He's going to go down here.
That horrible Cybern targeting. I don't know why I'm hating on the Cybern. I need to go hate on the Seraphim more. Yeah, the Iwasa, super expensive, and just dies with dropping like 1 bomb.
Air
Not even
experimentals
even worth it.
they're just not. They're not the one.
Imagine
really.
if he had built a Tsar instead. He could. Damn it! Us losing that co-cast really sucks because I'd be like, he could lose his Tsar and build another one, and it would be the best strategy. Those gunships going down, duelists losing all those stingers. Big pain. And the mass differential only grows. It's over 100,000 that Team 1 is ahead now.
Yeah,
or almost.
Team 1 doing a pretty good job of consolidating their lead, I think. Although not
the gunships did get all the trebuchets though.
Oh, very nice.
Well, except one. Leave one alive, brothers. They'll to tell the story.
And duelist.
Oh, they got the T3 AA. The Trebs got the T3 AA. It's dead.
Oh yeah, yeah, finally. Like, you can see all the decals. It's like there must be 100 shots there that have landed. Oh dear. Duelist actually managing to play the game. He's built a fat boy. Not bad.
You wouldn't know it up until this point.
No, he's
Man,
just being
we need to stop being mean to the duelist. He's a friend of both of ours.
Yeah.
Why are we? It seems like it's worse to be a friend of a caster than to be the enemy, because you don't like even if I've casted people I really hate playing with, and I don't rag on them nearly as much as I rag on the duelist.
Oh man, my dog is trying to get into my office.
Let him in. Go flash pictures of your dog on the cast. It'll get you all of the internet views. Don't you know? That's how the internet works. Just get some boobs in the thumbnail.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. I think the reason he wants to come in is that yesterday he managed to get half of a chocolate Easter egg, and he thinks he can get more.
He's just on that suicidal hunt for chocolate.
Yeah, I left it
That
on the
every
floor.
dog seems to be on.
Yeah. He's not a smart dog. I'll be honest. Yeah, I got some pictures of the cute boy sniffing around. Alright, Fat Boy getting into range of the bricks, and a GC done here for Boba Fett. So Boba Fett, I mean, he was really struggling. I did think he was going to go out of the game at one point, but he's managed to bring himself back into it. He's built a GC.
I think that the reason he did not get ejected from this game is more on Team 2 than it is on his play. I think that there was a huge fumble on trying to take it.
I agree.
Or I guess maybe Fraggington really did do a lot. But that GC, the Fat Boy, they need to slow down the GC. They need to send the units in and try and let the Fat Boy deal enough damage. The Stingers coming in, though, is going to be huge. Where are the ASF out from X6000? They're on the way. He selected all air, so it looks like a bunch of bombers are coming in, too. The air fight kicking off. Fraggington also in the air now, so it's just... it's compounding issues. The GC trying to get in range. I think this is going well, though, for Team 2. They lose air, they lose all the gunships, but the gunships did enough damage that this GC is now forfeit, and it's going to be a huge reclaim field for the Duelist that you can actually get into this time. He has factories right next to there, and the Awasa wreck, I'm sure it's still there, is not quite as accessible. Might see 2 or 3 Fat Boys built up, and if that happens, it's very, very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, that GC getting a T2 mechs and a bunch of unit kills, but I mean, there's just so much mass here. I think it was a T3 mechs, excuse me. But yeah, it's like 70k mass right here. The Team 2 are hopefully going to be able to suck up.
Yeah, we could be starting to look at things like game enders here soon. Do we have any nukes in the base of Team 1? Would not be surprised to see one out of X6000. We have an anti. Defense. We have another.
Yeah, I don't see any. It does surprise me. 40 minutes into the game, I'd expect to see that. Although I think most players by this point have got nuke defense, so maybe they don't want to waste their time.
I mean, the reason I wouldn't be surprised from Team 1 is they've already proven that they can snipe off structures pretty easily. Like, you can get rid of an anti pretty easily with 50 T1 bombers and those 3 strats.
Yeah, and that is true, especially with very little shielding around here. The Awasa that's about to be completed for X6000 gonna be a major asset, I think, to Team 1 in terms of the nuke game.
The fact that Boba Fett is now in a stronger economy than everybody on Team 2, with the exception of Leroy, is quite sad for Team 2.
well,
he was on like 18 mess at like
he went down to 13,
almost 20
yeah.
minutes. 13 at like 20 minutes. If anybody had an excuse for being poor in the late game, it was him.
Yeah, now he's working on that second GC. Team 1 trying to push into this firebase, but a bunch of clink hammers will deter them. Don't see any Ravagers, which surprises me. It's just triads at the minute. Team 2 sending a raiding party of Percivals and mobile flak up to the north there. I'm going to get some work done on those T2 mexes.
Yep-o. And of course, it feels like the onus is on Team 2. The Novax, I think, a good call. Although I think Team 1 has a pretty what's the word? Complete shielding, other than, of course, Boba Fett. But Boba Fett, I think, has enough build power there to just quickly throw up shields once it shows up.
Yeah, he's in danger of losing. I think that there's a decent chance that he might lose one T3 power generator or something like that. But I think he will be able to build shields before anything else happens to his base.
All players on Team 1 are in T3 air. Team 2 now has the Duelist and Leroy. I don't see any T3 air. I don't even see a T2 air factor. Oh, there's T3 air also done for Twisty Sauce. But the air focus out from Team 1 is starting to be a huge worry for Team 2.
Yeah.
And now they're about to lose all of their ASF. Yeah, it's quite brutal.
Do we see any strap bombers? Yeah, we've got 3 strap bombers up here. Another Fat Boy presumably built. Yeah, Fat Boy built. Those, I mean, the Fat Boys are good, but they just won't do anything to the air units that are coming in. They need an answer for this air spam that's coming out from Team 1.
The answer is, right now for Duelist, he has the answer. He has a ton of T3 engineers in that force to the south. Just start building SAMs everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You build SAMs in a giant kind of grid, a net around your bases, and that's how you deal with this. Although their opponents having a Seraphim just means that the so dreaded Awasa wreck bomb is a complete option still.
Yeah, absolutely. Very hard to shield basically like the entire map, which is what he would kind of need to do.
I was talking about the thing where you control K the Awasa to use the actual impact damage to kill things, because people do that. Yeah, it's really oppressive, and there's really no answer to it. Like, you can kill off if you do it properly, you can definitely kill off any of the anti-nukes on the map with one Awasa right now.
Nice. Yeah, the Cs are useful in that regard as well, but again, another Avasad just getting one bomb off and then hitting the ground in a very similar place to the first one, actually. It kills a couple SAM sites, but not much more than that, unfortunately.
Yep. So what is the Novax? I think is picking up some pretty decent kills onto mexes.
Yeah,
and
Novak's really good at this sort of thing, killing the fringe T3 mexes.
Yeah, in the southern side, Duelist is doing quite well. He has a experimental. I think he has his own Novax.
Yeah, he does. Look at that.
I don't know if you mentioned that already.
I don't think I spotted that.
I feel like he's getting a lot done. This GC big kind of issue, as the Fat Boy is not long for this world, is the way I'll put it.
Yeah, Fat Boy's good at range, not so much face to face.
He might be able to survive a bit longer if he can. He's going to force the GC to walk a little bit more. Maybe? Maybe. It's going to be very close now.
Number of
it's going to be very close.
Oh, and the GC just goes down. The Fat Boy surviving on 2,000 hit points. Takes another shot. Oh, I don't even know what it's getting hit by, actually. Oh, sniper bots. Sniper bots finish it off. Nice. Very cool.
Yeah, if the sniper bots weren't so many of them there, that's a living Fat Boy on 2 vet.
Yeah, you can see that this sniper bot 3 vet points with just 2 kills. So I'm assuming he was the one that got that final kill. A lot more mass.
Overall, though, they've lowered the economy deficit a lot with these Novaxes. The Novaxes have really taken a toll economically, and now Team 2 is catching up.
Yeah.
It was, I think, almost 300 mass a second, and now it's down to just 100.
Yeah, not bad. Is that a second Novax? It is a second Novax, so committing to the Novax spam.
The Duelist, just south of you, the Duelist is working on a Duke.
Oh, look at that. Very cool, T3RT.
Oh, wait, the adjacency is off. He did the adjacency wrong.
Oh, really?
One of those pigeons is not aligned.
Oh, no. Duelist, you made a video on this.
The other one actually, neither of them might be aligned. He may have just misclicked with the location, because whenever you look at it closely, it might just be all wrong. No, it is just the one. It's the one on the left there. Okay. Because they're adjacent to the shield. That's why.
Right. Yeah. See the little adjacency lines there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Novax is causing havoc. I mean, these were. I think all 4 of these were T3 mexes, and now they are smoldering piles of rubble. We've got a megalith, your favorite, in pink. Excellent.
The land battleship of death.
Yeah.
The The artillery doggo. The other artillery doggo.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird looking doggo. I think that doggo needs to go to the vet, I'll be honest.
It's got like a weird growth on its tail. Crab. It is amazing.
Counter push coming in over to the north from Twisty Saws, pushing in with Percival, is just completely ignoring the encroaching megalith, trying to prevent Team 1 from rebuilding those destroyed mexes.
Yeah, the megalith really needs those bricks to be on top of it right now. It's taking a lot of damage from the Fat Boy, and that's probably just because the Fat Boy is going to target the megalith naturally. But I think the bricks clearing up the smaller static defense and letting the megalith be able to focus on that Fat Boy is going to be the best call here. The megalith is gonna go down. Has it cleared out enough, and has it gained enough territory to maybe get that Fat Boy in a position where it could die? If not, then these bricks are just going to have to fall back the second the megalith. Yeah, you have to fall back with the bricks now. Does pick up some mexes, which is not a horrible trade. I mean, it is a horrible trade, but you gotta look at it. Fucking silver linings.
Yeah.
When you lose a megalith for nothing.
Yeah. A ton of mobile flak in this Percy raid, so Whalers trying to come in overhead, but getting basically nothing done.
Yeah.
See, this is where an Awasar would be just perfect. Get an Awasar to nuke this raiding party before it reaches your base.
It's honestly feeling like Team 2 earlier in the game kind of just sat on their laurels and went very passive, and now it feels like Team 1, despite getting their air advantage, have been super passive in the air. They haven't tried to abuse it whatsoever.
Yeah,
and
just no strap bombers or anything like that.
It's both teams deciding to be passive about things that they really just couldn't afford to be, because now it's starting to feel like Team 2 with their standoff tactics are going to start winning, and I don't know if he's realized it yet. I think maybe he did it, like he's just like, screw it, it's not getting it. If I had to choose, I would definitely reclaim that T3 Pigeon and get another one before building the second Duke.
Right. He's focusing Fraggington's base, and
that's a pretty good call. Fraggington on the strongest economy now after... Wow, the Percival raid already inside the base up to the north.
Wow, look at that. With the Novaxes to support. They're presumably going to be able to kill that nuke defense. Do we have any nuke launchers? I don't think we do. I think probably the plan is just to kill all the shields, and then the Novax and artillery can finish the job if the Percys don't do it themselves. But just nothing in defense it.
I don't know if that's how that works, but I think I just saw a bunch of that flak that was trying to hit an ASF landing hit the shield and did a fuck.
I think it does. I think it does. So Subcom is one of the things that I really like about this game is that all the projectiles are simulated really nicely. So projectiles going into a shield will do damage to it.
Yeah, and I the reason I was wondering if it did do it that way is that I don't know. They do have some things in the FAF balance patch, of course, where they've made things interact slightly differently for balance sake.
Yeah.
So that way, and I could see that being one, like parking flak right outside of an air factory to kill off the shields.
Yeah.
Although that's a very niche situation. I've rarely seen it happen, but...
Yeah. And Team 1 calling game that... And I think it actually looked like the notify thing said that X6000 got killed by his teammate Fraggington, which I haven't seen before.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. I don't know what causes it. I know that if you actually legitimately kill your teammate, like you nuke them or something, it does show up like that.
Right.
But there's some weird. The notify mod is great, but it's got its quirks.
Yeah, definitely. Boba Fett just...
And I think that's all she wrote. Boba Fett, he doesn't have a great chance of dealing with this. The Percivals from the north alone might be enough.
Nothing is
the 3 Novaxes and the Duke. All right.
Yeah, Biag saying his opponents had air and should have gone for Caesar.
Yeah. The
4 Novexes.
the moral of the story is you can't sit idly by. You got to keep doing stuff.
Yeah.
Because both teams had situations where they stopped doing the stuff that was winning them the game, and that made their game much dicier, or in case of Team One, made them lose.
Yeah, I think just failing to keep up that pressure, unfortunately, lost them the game there.
Yeah. Either way, thank you for having me on, and if you
Yeah.
are coming over here from my channel, subscribe to this man, give him a like, go check out his other casts, give him a chance. And you all are beautiful, and I'll let you do your outro.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for joining me, Willow. Love having you. We should do this again sometime. You were mentioning you might be thinking about trying to do a co-op campaign again and do some videos on that. That'd be fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing it with some stipulations,
Okay.
like maybe a somewhat of a challenge video.
Yeah.
I'll have to brainstorm, and if you have any ideas that would make the campaign interesting from a challenge perspective, let me know.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching, everyone. Click like and subscribe if you're still watching at this point. I would appreciate that immensely. But yeah, I will see you next time. Goodbye.